Tell them we'll run out of space on the screen.
No, it'll make it smaller.
So how come, I wanted to ask this before, Fred, if you're there. Okay, how come it says Giuliano council member, Dean, Carol is the, and it just says Nancy?
That's,
Oh,
Type it
I can rename you.
in.
what do you want to be named? What do you want to say? Yeah.
I'm a councilwoman.
So if you go up in your box, right, up in your box, and you go up where your hand is, the corner right hand side, you'll see 3 little dots.
Oh, you're gonna give me an assignment?
I'm giving you an assignment right now.
There
That's
it
it.
is.
It's done.
Thank
There you
you,
go.
There it
Fred.
is.
Oh, dude.
There you go. Did you do that, Fred?
Yes. Everything's ready to go. And we have 3 people in the waiting room, Jeff, Elliot, and Eric.
Okay, well, bring them in. We'll start the meeting. Public hearing, rather. Well, we got 2 in so far. Oh, there's the 3rd one, Jeff. Okay. This is the continued public hearing on proposed local law number 4, 2021 regarding conference centers held on this day, June 8th, 2021 via teleconferencing using Zoom with a YouTube live stream to the public. This is due to the COVID-19 emergency state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings and pursuant to the Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspending the open meetings law. There's no pledge to the flag, so we got to do a roll call just to verify we have a quorum. Supervisor Oberly here, Councilwoman Cunningham,
Here,
Councilman Giuliano,
Here.
Councilman Dean Michael,
Here.
Councilman Witten,
Here.
Town Clerk Mackin.
Here.
We have a quorum, so we can conduct business. Town Clerk will read the public hearing notice.
Please take notice that the town of Clinton will continue the public hearing on Tuesday, June 8th, 2021 at 6:25 PM via Zoom video conference consistent with Executive Orders 202.1 and 202.15 as extended, addressing the COVID-19 virus concerning proposed local law 4 of 2021 entitled Conference Center Law pursuant to Article 16 of the New York Town Law. Please take further notice due to public health concerns. In-person attendance will not be permitted. However, the public will be fully able to observe and participate in the public hearing via computer, smartphone, tablet, or other electronic device. The public is invited to attend the public hearing held via Zoom and comment on the proposed local law by joining electronically or by telephone. The passcodes will be published on the town website the day before the meeting, townofclinton.com. The codes can also be retrieved by emailing the town clerk beginning June 7th, or comments for the public hearing can be submitted to the town clerk at townofclinton.com. The local law will take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. Complete copies of the proposed local law are available at the office of the town clerk and at the Town of Clinton website for inspection during regular business hours.
Thank you. I open the floor via Zoom for comments and turn the meeting over to Councilman Michael.
Okay, so, from our last meeting, I did discuss and we did make some changes. One of the questions that you guys had as far as the Dude Ranch language would come out, but I think it's 250-66 still applies. So it wouldn't, inhibit you from doing a Dude Ranch per se, just following the 250-66 code, which would allow for the horse stabling and riding. So did you guys have any further questions on any of the changes or language?
Thanks, Dean, very much. I appreciate those changes getting in there after the last hearing. And I think all in all, it looks really great. As I know it's been a long journey and a lot of work. I did, in going through it, have a couple comments. I'll apologize ahead of time. Sorry, but nothing crazy. And these are things that just kind of struck me in rereading it, hopefully for the last time. On page 1, in the definition of event area, I noticed that the change was to add conference center. Thank you for that. And that obviously makes sense. But one thing I realized was that in the definition of event area, it's that will be used for events, included but not limited to outdoor areas, parking areas, buildings, and structures. But there's a discrepancy then later on with the setbacks, because in one section, it refers to the event area as having a 500-foot setback, but the buildings are allowed a 200-foot setback. And so that the discrepancy makes it unclear in terms of how do the buildings then become part of the event area. And from my memory, when we were working on this, the idea was, as most of this, to eliminate the transmission of noise. And so if it's in a building, the thought was that building could be closer and the 200-foot setback fit other laws on the town. But an outdoor event is more likely to generate noise that's going to travel further, so that would be further away. So I do have a suggestion for a sort of a quick clarification fix to that. Is if on page 2, number 8, where it says outdoor events, since the idea is to specifically limit noise from outdoor events, rewording something like all outdoor events shall be contained within a specific outdoor event area, which is contained within the event area, determined by the planning board and specified on the approved site plan. So in other words, on the site plan, any place that there would be an outdoor event would be a circle inside the circle of the event area, therefore allowing for the 2 different setbacks that are mentioned. Additionally,
So
okay.
it's just, so I have the full language here. So what did we change, or what did we add in where?
All outdoor events should be contained within, so delete the and add a specific outdoor, then event area, which is contained within the event area. To be determined by the planning board.
Okay.
And then the next sentence, tents and other temporary structures shall be located within the approved, add the word outdoor event area. And that way the tents and temporary structures are not put within the larger event area. Within the approved outdoor event area specifically.
So Jeff, your thing is really just basically trying to, because the indoors, the situation that, where you're saying the 200 to 500 feet, it's just trying to clear that up. So it's not everything has to be 500 feet at that point.
Right, exactly. And so that, and part of the law was also creating the opportunity for historic properties to find new purpose. And that's why the law specifically mentions using existing structures that might be historic structures, because it's another way of sharing the rural history of the town.
Exactly. And some of the older structures may be closer than the 500 feet that fall within that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last thing in that section on the next sentence, the boundaries of again, add the word outdoor. So boundaries of the outdoor event area. And then instead of excluding, simply say, shall not include parking areas and shall be located at least 500 feet. And my thinking behind that, obviously, is it more clearly says the 500 feet boundary, but it also eliminates the possibility of somebody putting a parking area 200 feet, which is the setback in another section of the law, and then putting up a tent in the parking area, or trying to think they could do the outdoor event in the parking area.
Hmm.
So it still has to be specifically contained in that outdoor event area.
So shall not exclude the parking area,
Shall not include,
shall not include.
right, instead of the word excluding. Yeah. Parking areas and shall be located. So add the word and.
But if the parking area is part of the event, where to go to the event, you have to have parking.
Right, so this allows for the parking to be part of the larger event area, so that fits the definition, but prevents people from doing an outdoor event in the parking area.
So just specifically for outdoor events, the parking lot is to be included.
Parking only, right,
as Parking only, yep. Okay.
right, yeah. And then on page 4, number 12, this has been in there for a long time, and again, for whatever reason, it just struck me in reviewing it this time. For lodging facilities, it says lodging facilities at the conference center, if any, shall not contain kitchen facilities for cooking or dishwashing. And what I realized was, again, in the interest of being able to repurpose some of the historic structures, it wouldn't be uncommon for a property to have a farmhouse and want to be able to utilize that farmhouse as part of their temporary residence permit with the health department and as a lodging for the attendees of events at the conference center. And those buildings are obviously going to have, kitchen facilities. And the intent of this, as I understood it, was to prevent a room from being used as an apartment. So somebody couldn't have their own access to a kitchen within their room. And so in interest of that, my suggestion would be to change the word facilities to rooms. So the heading would stay the same, it's still lodging facilities, but it would start out lodging rooms at the conference center, if any, shall not contain kitchen facilities. And that way it still allows for these historic buildings to be used. And then the last one I had, also on page 4 in number 16, I think this just got missed as a change was made before about the annual renewal. Number 14 is a special use permit review. I would suggest in number 16, where it says an annual fee due at initial approval, and then upon each annual renewal, just change the word renewal to review. And that way, just for the continuity of it. Also, it keeps it more clear that it's not a renewal. That was it. But thank you very much. I
Sure.
appreciate the time.
Does any of the board members have any comments about any of those changes or concerns, or okay with it?
I'm fine with that. It defines a little bit. The lodging makes sense as long as it's not within the rooms. I think the outdoor facility, yeah, I think I'm okay with that personally.
I think they're meaningful changes.
Thank you.
Eric, did you have any extra questions or?
No, I think it looks good. I appreciate you guys putting in the work, and I think that most of the stuff we were concerned about last time has been remedied. And thank you very much, everyone.
Sure. I don't know, did Elliot have anything to put in, or?
He's mute.
Are you muted, Elliot?
Oh,
Okay, could you read that first one back to me? I'm sorry about the 800, the 500 feet, 200 feet. I got a little mixed up when Jeff was reading that one. The outdoor events thing.
So all outdoor events shall be contained within a specific outdoor event area, which is contained within the event area to be determined by the planning board and specified on the approved site plan. Did I get that right, Jeff?
Yeah, thanks, Dean.
Okay, and it went on, right, from there? There was more to it?
Yeah, then the next sentence, tents and other temporary structures shall be located within the approved outdoor event area specified, as specified.
Yeah.
Okay, what was, the issue had to do with 500 feet versus 200 feet, is that right?
I think what his concern was that someone could use, well, the 250, 500, whatever, but also that the parking area could be used as an event area.
Part of the issue was that outdoor events had to be 500 feet from the lot line,
Yeah,
but law also specifies that buildings
Only have to be two.
could be within 200 feet. So since we didn't create an outdoor event area, it meant that buildings automatically would be in violation of the setbacks.
oh, okay, I get it. All right. Okay,
So any additional comments, Elliot?
no, I mean, you guys have been at this for
Too long.
how long? How many years? Okay, too long. No, it seems okay.
All right. Well, with that, then I think we can close the public hearing.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, Elliot.
There being no further comments, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Okay, at this time, I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Is there a second?
Dean Michael,
Juliano.
second.
Roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham, Nancy,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Public hearing is closed. And now we'll start off in the regular town board meeting. Okay, you all ready?
Ready.
Okay. This is the town board regular meeting being held on June 8th, 2021 via teleconferencing using Zoom with a YouTube live stream to the public. This is due to the COVID-19 emergency. State and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings and pursuant to Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1 issued on March 12th, 2020, suspending the open meetings law. Members of the public may view the board meeting as it is live streamed on Town Board Videos page on the Town of Clinton website. There is no public participation at this meeting. So I call the meeting to order. No pledge to the flag because we're all over the place. So we do a roll call for a quorum. Supervisor Oberly here, Councilman Giuliano,
Here.
Councilman Witten,
Here.
Councilman Dean Michael,
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham,
Here.
Town Clerk Mackin.
Here.
We have a quorum, so we can conduct business. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 11th, 2021 public hearing on local law 4 conference centers. Is there a second?
Juliano, second.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Next one is another minutes, and I make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 11th, 2021 town board meeting. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. And now we'll hop off into supervisor's comments. I got a potpourri of things. Things are getting busy. On the 4th of July holiday, town offices, town court clerks, and highway departments will be closed on Saturday and Monday, July 3rd and 5th. The library will be closed only on Monday, July 5th, and open regular hours on Saturday, July 3rd. The recycling center will be open regular hours, 7:30 a.m. to noon on Saturday, July 3rd. The primary election day is June 22 from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. with in-person voting in town of Clinton, with all election districts voting at Clinton Town Hall, 1215 Center Road, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572. The Clinton primary has only one voting line for the working families line for family court judge. New York State has adopted early voting starting June 12th through June 20th during the times and locations posted, and I give you the webpage, https://www.elections-duchessny.gov/. Update on the Fiddler's Bridge Road Bridge near the intersection of Lompong Roads by West Clinton Station 2 will be estimated closed to all traffic starting the first week of July until mid-October 2021. Notify your attendees coming to social activities, delivery, and service providers of the closure, and detour routes will be published when they become available. This one is a little out of our area, but I know a lot of residents travel North Quaker Lane. North Quaker Lane will be closed from Forest Drive to East Falk Hill Road starting Monday, June 14th until fall of 2021. The road will be straightened and the culvert bridge will be replaced. Follow the detours to avoid the construction on North Quaker Lane. Central Hudson is in the process of upgrading and replacing their poles in the town of Clinton today. You've probably seen them all over the place. They use contractors in addition to their workers to speed up the work. Originally, we thought this may be a 5G installations, and that is incorrect. That was incorrect information. On the COVID-19 front, the governor announced Monday, when the vaccination rate achieves 70% for all of New York State, he will remove most COVID restrictions. Today, we're at 68.6% vaccination rate statewide. So the lifting of restrictions will probably occur in about 2 months. We can further discuss at our July 13th town board meeting. My guess is probably the August town board meeting and on will be open in person, but we got to see what he says. So that's all the information we have here. The next thing, gotta look and see where we are. Okay, we're going to go into approval, discuss and approve town-wide reval. Dean?
So I have a teleconference with Marist College as far as interns next Wednesday. So I'll have more detail on it. And obviously, Teresa's been busy with the all the things going on with the grievance. Yes, thank you. But she did send me back a letter saying she did not get a cost for the RFP, but got a template from the New York State Department of Finance, which she did send me a copy. And the purpose of the RFP is to get the cost for the revaluation project from various vendors. And then she said that we can talk to New York State Department of Finance, ORPTS, and I forget what the acronym is, for help in the assembling of the RFP for our requirements. So I'm still working on it with Teresa, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more by next meeting as far as interns and everything else.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Moving ahead. The next one is you again, Conference Center, local law.
So I think we were all in agreement. So I'll just read I make a motion, be it resolved that the town board approves the following resolution. Number 31 of 2021, adopting local law number 4 of 2021 entitled Conference Center Law, a copy of which is attached here too and made a part of the resolution. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to enter this local law in the minutes of the meeting and give due notice to adoption of the local law to the Secretary of State. And I guess we would just add in as amended.
Is there a second?
A Giuliano second.
Any further discussion? Okay, ready to vote then?
Yeah.
Okay, Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. I
Nice work, Dean.
inadvertently skipped over one, so we'll back up. Item number 3. This is a revision to the position statement for Secretary to Highway Superintendent. The position statement approved in haste had some errors which were corrected in this revised Secretary to the Highway Superintendent position statement. So I make a motion to approve the revised position statement for this position of Secretary to the Highway Superintendent. Is there a second?
Witten, second.
Further discussion? Roll call, Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Now we go down to the cyber password. This was written in conjunction with our IT consultant, Fred Sequin, in order to improve the cybersecurity of our computer network. It is the cheapest and is a very effective way to reduce ransomware, fraud, and scams on our computer network. NYMER has requested we implement the cyber password policy for our cyber security insurance. Now, I sent you all the information on it, the actual words and all. Essentially, what it says is, in simple words, every month you got to change your password. And that's for town-owned equipment. So your private home computer, you can do what you want, okay? So it's restricted in that sense. So does anybody have any comments or anything else? I didn't know if I didn't get any on the internet, email or anything. So we can pass it tonight, and if everybody thinks that that's okay, and then we'll be in effect with it. So I'll make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be resolved that the town board approves the cyber password policy. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll do the roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Okay, thank you. Get through to that one. Now we have, the next one is Dean on fines and penalties.
Well, I mean, as we discussed the last meeting, the purpose is to basically discourage people from intentionally violating the rules. So the minimum fines seem to be on a little bit of the higher side, but they do progressively go up should someone continually violate, because we've seen in certain circumstances where people in the town would rather pay the fine and continue violating the rules. So attached on here is the suggested fines and fees.
So we gotta, did you want to approve them today or wait till next time?
Well, unless someone has questions or comments or concerns.
Excuse me, Dean, it's a local law, so there's a whole process to follow, so we're not prepared for that tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
My only question would be, some of these like permits, they stay with the property. So if somebody sells it and the short-term rental, say permit stays with the property and there's a new owner, and say they violate something, but the previous owner had violated twice already, are they going to be charged with a third violation? Yeah.
Well, if there's a violation, when they do a title search, part of the title search is violation search. So they would know that there's this continual problem with the property. And certainly if there's a bank involved, the bank is going to require that the person remedy the violations before they close and get clear title.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, but someone should know and find out ahead of time before they close on a property that there's a problem with that.
I guess I just don't want like the first and second offense of somebody, a previous owner, to count against the new owner.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, certainly my personal opinion is that it's a new person, but then you watch out for, like, if someone changes the name from one corporation to the other corporation, or they change the name from the husband to the wife, or vice versa, so I guess, again, typically our zoning enforcement officer is not looking out to get people. He's usually looking to work with people to get it, done correctly. And, if it's only really in those rare circumstances where people are pushed to the point where we have to, take them to court and fine them.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so in July.
So then we have to have a public hearing for next month then.
We'll introduce the local law next month, and then the public hearing will follow from there.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Next thing is 2021 fund balance report.
So I'm sure you all saw it, but for those viewing, I sent a fund balance report to all of you, but basically our fund balance policy says that our unexpended surplus funds should be not less than 25% and not more than 45% of the general fund and highway funds adopted budget appropriations, excluding things like fringe benefits and health insurance and pensions. So we did our AUD, we got it in April, and I was able to go through it. In the general fund, our surplus is, or our unassigned fund balance is $704,289. And that represents 53.3% of the adopted budget appropriations, which means that we can spend anywhere between, well, we are actually required by the policy to bring it down to about 45%, which would be $110,000 that we'd have to figure out a place for. We can find a place for upwards of $374,000, but I don't think we should do that. I think we should keep the fund balance up at around, we shouldn't spend more, I don't think, than 120,000 of this surplus. In the highway fund, it's a different story. The highway fund's fund balance right now is $171,707. And that represents a little more than 10% of the adopted budget appropriations. And so by the policy, we need to come up with a plan over 3 years to raise that back up to the minimum of 25% at least. My suggestion is, this is good information to know as Ray is starting off the budget planning. And as we head into our budget workshops in November, we can decide, we can use the surplus in general fund to lower taxes. We can transfer it to the highway fund to help build up that surplus. We can do a combination of both. We can look at ideas that everybody has, but I think it's it's a good idea to see, since we're starting the budget process, just keep these numbers in mind. And as we're going through the workshop, now we know what we can do, and we can maybe come up with a plan at that time as well to build up the highway surplus.
And we have some big expenses, to come. I mean, certainly the revaluation is going to
Yeah.
cost us more than what our normal budget would be by hiring an additional person and, doing the RFP for the outside vendor, because even the commercial properties would probably still be done by an outside vendor. So, and then we also talked about the maintenance on the buildings,
Yes.
which is still an ongoing concern. So
Because we when we did the budget on the outside buildings and stuff, we figured for we put a little bit aside from last year, and then we got to figure that out for this year. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the decision on how to spend the unexpended balance that we were just talking about. I mean, I've made this decision for years, and I don't make the final numbers until I see what the expenses are and the revenues are, because you can never predict anything with the volume of data you're working with, which way you got to do what. So we'll work it out as part of the budget cycle. I mean, that's where it is. You all approve the budget. And
Yeah, and
numbers.
I think this is a good system. When the AUD comes, we find the fund balance report, and then that leads right into you planning the budget, knowing those numbers and those percentages, and then we can work it out in workshops.
Yeah, and just to realize for the public, most of the board know this. This is the first time we're doing it this way. Okay, so we're learning the process too.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is approve the shredding event. The town clerk has started to review our old files with respect to the New York State records retention schedule. There are many records needing to be shredded since they exceed the required retention time, so it is most effective and recommended by New York State Archives to hire a commercial shredder. This is freeing up file cabinet and storage space, so it gets rid of old stuff, not permanent records that we need. Some stuff we got to keep 50 years, but that's what this is all about. So this is to authorize it. So I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the June 26th shredding event and the shredding truck from Record Storage Solutions Incorporated at a cost not to exceed $550. Is there a second?
Michael, second.
Any further discussion? Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is Climate Smart Task Force.
So 3 years into this adventure, we've finally formed a task force. We'll be appointing the members later in the meeting, but we're having our first official meeting at the end of the month. We've got 11 members, I think, including myself, and it's a really great group. So I'm excited about it, but I'd like to make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved pursuant to Resolution 29 of 2018, which established the Climate Smart Community Task Force. The town board approves the regular meeting night on the fourth Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. starting June 25th, 2021 in the Masonic Hall. Under the suspension of open meetings law, the committee will meet via Zoom. I would like to add to this as well that our very first meeting, because of a special guest, will be happening actually the 5th Tuesday of the month, this month. but after that, it will be the 4th Tuesday.
Okay, is there a second?
Michael, second.
Further discussion? I compliment you on moving this ahead. It's recognition for the community.
Thank you.
Roll call, Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. The next one is going to be a little long, but I don't know how to say it shortly. Okay. This is the cannabis marijuana law that was passed up in Albany. The town will need to make decisions before September 1st of 2021. So if local laws are needed, there's time to enact them. And they got to be enacted by the end of the year. Now, these are the three major things we got to consider. Do we want to allow the sale of cannabis products in our town after the regulations get developed by New York State? If we allow the sale, we'll be able to receive a 3% sales tax revenue source. If we do not approve the sale in town, we will not get any of the sales tax revenue. That's from any place else. Do we want to allow smoking parlors in town? Consider them smoking bars or whatever you want to look at it. The other one is, do we want to allow smoking out in public places? No cannabis smoking is allowed in private and public vehicles and eating places. Organizations can restrict smoking in their facilities and grounds. All the above are subject to the town zoning as to locations and restrictions, which must be revised. So if we want to say what these things are, we got to add the words marijuana stores and all that kind of stuff. There are some other possible issues once we get the new rules and regulations from the New York State government later this year. The question I have is, how do we want to get input from the community on these three decisions to move forward on town actions? So I don't know, do we want to do a web thing? A mailing is like $800. It's not that it can't be done. Typically we get maybe 10% feedback, maybe 25 if it's great. Any ideas, thoughts, or other ways of doing it? We got to make a decision on all three of these things, regardless.
So my first concern, I guess, question is with the fact of, is that 3% that we'd get from the county, or is that just from whatever sales that were in our town?
Sales in our town.
So, and then if we don't approve that, they can still sell it? Is that what I'm understanding?
No.
Oh, they can't. Okay, gotcha.
Can't
All right.
sell, and we don't get any money.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure, but I think there's a sharing arrangement with the sales taxes with the county sends us some, and we wouldn't get any of it if we denied this.
Yeah, we don't get it.
Yeah.
I think a public hearing, unless we have the budget, I think I do agree with Ray with the fact that, we're going to spend $800, maybe get 10%, put it up for, we got a couple months to do maybe one or two public hearings.
I mean, it can be very exotic. It could be just a very, as you suggested, a public hearing. And we can notify the people and just hold it before the next town board meeting, which is in July. So we still have time to make a decision in September. And the reason I say that, generally it takes 3 months to pass a local law. And some of these things are local law things. And I'm not talking just the zoning revision part, but some of the decisions, which way we want to go. So, we have time if we want to do it that way. So does that make sense then? We do a public hearing and do a PR on the webpage and MailChimp and Scroller, and I'll put it in the newspaper, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do something. Look for input.
Yeah.
I could just see this as being the next ag event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get concerned. I mean, I obviously want to always hear what the public has to say, but at the same time, I feel like we were elected to make these decisions.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's one of these that's a little different than we typically deal with.
Yeah.
If it's a bridge closure, that's easy. Everybody says we got to have the bridge. This one
Is anyone have any opinions on this either way yet, or not enough to?
I'm sure we all have opinions.
At other town board
You do?
meetings, but groups where the supervisors meet and all, there's no clear definition across the county as to which way they're going. Some are going with sales, and some are going no sales.
And I think it's a difficult situation because they haven't really given much guidance yet. On
Yeah.
it. they haven't even set up all of the marijuana boards or whatever it's going to be that
I know.
decides these things.
I mean, how does this,
I'm sorry. I also heard that if we did decide, say, to not allow it, that there's something in the law that says people can have a petition to put it as a referendum this November instead of us making a decision.
I don't know. That's a detail I just don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, this is very fluid. There's no state information that's really detailed. It's all
So-
realities.
so this is about selling it, or does it also have the definitive of growing it and selling it? Is it like as an ag?
Oh, there's other restrictions on growing and stuff like that, but that's not within our purview. That's state purview.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we need to approve allowing dispensaries places to sell it, which honestly, I don't think the town of Clinton necessarily would
Well,
probably
yeah.
be a great place for a dispensary. And then I don't know what they're called, but basically a smoking bar. It's like a bar, but where you smoke weed. They don't allow both to happen. You can't drink at these places and you can't.
Yeah, there's restrictions all around. But, we can set it up for July and let the public at least have the opportunity. And if nobody wants to get involved, we just make a decision.
Did you, Ray, did you go to that? There was like a webinar from a law firm recently. I can send you guys the link. It's a YouTube video now. They put it on YouTube. And there's like an hour-long thing with all sorts of questions I can send.
Yeah, I've been on several of them and they're all very superficial at this point.
Yeah.
Because they're all waiting for what Albany's gonna do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I just tried to highlight the stuff that we need to start thinking and talking about it. Okay, so move on a public hearing before the next thing and we'll go full court press on advertising it. If we are.
I'm
then
fine with that.
Huh?
I'm fine with the public hearing on that.
Yeah. Okay, Carol, you ready for a public hearing notice then?
Ready.
Okay, I make a motion that the town board, let me get my thing here. That the town board approves the following resolution, be it resolved that the town board approves having a public hearing on cannabis on, what's the date?
I think it's July 13th.
Yeah, let me look.
Was that the next meeting?
Yes.
Oh, then, okay. I can be
July
at that.
13th.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
July 13th at, should we do this at 6 o'clock?
I think 6 o'clock to leave some time for people to comment would be a good.
Right. Plus you also have the local law stuff for deans.
Well, we're going to introduce that at the July meeting, so that will follow for public hearing in August.
Okay. So we have a half hour.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll just go for that. And if it
Half hour.
doesn't need it, well, we'll just wait. Okay, is there a second?
Giuliano second.
Okay, roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
No,
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Thank you. Move that one along. Okay, now, this is even more nebulous and more confusing. This is the ARP, as you've probably seen it. It's called the American Rescue Plan. This is I think this is the $1.9 trillion recovery plan from President Biden's administration. So the US Treasury is starting to make available a draft of the rules for implementing ARP. These rules are coming from a 150-page federal law, which in many cases is very general. There are grant areas that we have no ability to apply for, like water and sewer infrastructure, since we have none of these facilities. The ARP funds are being sent to the by the Treasury to the state to distribute to towns based on population. We expect around $400,000 being given to the town of Clinton in 2 payments in late 2021 and a year later in 2022. All funds must be committed by year end 2024 and payments made to vendors by year end 2026. Possible eligible grant uses: responding to public health emergency, which is considered COVID-19, and associated negative economic impacts like restaurants and stores and stuff like that. Replace town revenue losses due to COVID. We don't know if that is by line item. For example, we'll say court fees, or is it the total bottom line of the town budget? Don't know that subtlety. Premium pay for essential workers. I don't know that we've had it. We have to research that, but it's a very narrow focus. Broadband infrastructure, cybersecurity, including cybersecurity. Now there's possible funding also from the county ARP funds on broadbanding. We're trying to figure out exactly how they would help us out. For example, stretching a line along Kansas Road, for example. The other part is, I don't know if a person who is, I'll say, 500 feet off of a major highway where the wires are going, would they pay the hookup fee? And that could be like $5,000 to hook them up to broadband. It's a question, and whether that would be our money to do or whether the county is picking that up. We're still in discussions on that one. The other one is, they say sometimes highway infrastructure, but we really need more research to confirm, because it comes in essentially three pieces. One, the physical, like macadaming of roads and oil and stoning, that kind of stuff. The other one is bridges, big culverts, that kind of stuff. And the last one is, can we buy trucks with it or a bulldozer or whatever, you know? We don't know that detail. So here's the ineligible uses. Can't be used to reduce taxes, which everybody would love to have done. Place in reserve fund for future projects. We're saying, you know, hey, I think I may need a new senior center someplace, you know, 5 years from now. And you can't pay for operating expenses like electric bills or salaries and stuff like that. Now, this is continually moving ahead. How do you think we should move ahead to develop projects to undertake with this ARP funding? Again, we can have a committee formed, we can do a public thing, we can possibly, everybody comes together next month with a list of what you think may fit. Now, I can give you more paper than you need, but you got to read it just like I got to read it to see what fits and doesn't fit. And then we can have a public hearing on it, or we can just start moving forward on it if we get enough definition from the Treasury Department. They're the ones that actually are establishing all the rules on this thing. And then the other part is the real money will not become, now this is different. This is where the money comes. We spend it. And if we spend it on something that is not approved by the Treasury Department, then we got to pay for that money out of our budget. So it's a real tricky thing. So a lot of interrelationship that's going to have to be developed between the town and the Treasury Department person, whoever that contact person is. And I don't know who that is. So I just offer several different ways that we got to move. So I don't expect the state to give us money until probably maybe September.
So maybe, I mean, can you email, is you have it all printed out, or can we get to see the email of all the requirements?
Oh,
And
yeah,
that we can-
as I said, I got pounds of paper here I can send you.
Okay,
You know, just read it like I do. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I've been copying you on a lot of the presentations that I've received on
Mhm.
this. Whether you listened or went to them, I don't know, but, so it's coming out, but they're all in pretty much general discussion points. They're not like, for example, I said on lost revenue. Is it because the judges lost revenue because there are no cars on the road, so nobody's speeding and nobody's getting a fine? Or is it the total for all of last year? Did we have a net loss in our budget? I don't know. Obviously, we had surplus money, so in that case, it doesn't apply. So I don't know if you do it on account line numbers, you know, in the revenue line, or what. I just haven't gotten that level of detail.
Well, I think it would be good that, if all of us as board members get to try to maybe get our interpretation, that we can meet together back on there to kind of see how we all interpret it, since it is kind of vague, if that's what you're saying.
Or,
And then we can make another, when do we need to have a defined, for the, because we're saying this was coming September, right? So we have,
well, that's when the money is coming, but we can spend it.
we have till 2024 to make sure
Yeah,
it's
we have till
spent.
the end of 24, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta, we can have a workshop. We don't need a public hearing. Have a workshop, have the public.
Yeah.
comment.
That's fine.
I mean, there's different ways of doing it. I just didn't want to arbitrarily say we're going to do it this way when you think, oh, might be better doing it some other way. That's all I'm asking for. What direction do you want us to go?
Well, the idea that Mike says there, public workshop with us, where we can sit there and go through it and all of us can read it and get our interpretations and try to put the best foot forward how to spend it.
Yeah, and the thing I'm trying to do is move this along, because come middle of September through election day, we're going to be busy with the budget.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a meeting a week on the budget roughly. And, don't want to get all those numbers messed up here too. And I don't know if we will fold this in to the budget, as a line item or what. I just haven't thought about it and talked with the bookkeeping staff to figure out what's the best way to keep track of it. Because as you can see, it's a multi-year thing. So if you put it in the budget, I don't want it to be wiped off and put in a surplus funds and now you lose the money.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be creative bookkeeping to figure out how to do this. But we got to start thinking of what do we want, and what's the county gonna do? Because the county wants to help support us too. So we just need to figure it out.
You're gonna send us what you have, right?
Oh yeah, I'll send you all this stuff. That's not a problem.
Okay.
But what do we want to do after we get it all? Do we want to set up a workshop now? In end of June?
Well, like Chris said, I think we need to know a little bit more detail as to what we can and what we can't do. So you were unclear on a couple of things, but why don't you send that email out and then we can think about things that we think that should be
Okay,
put in.
I'm just, we're
And
all here.
since there's some time involved, because we have until, say, the end of 2024, I think this is probably a good discussion for during the budget workshops as well. Maybe there are things that, that these funds would be eligible to be spent on, and then we have extra room in our budget. They might be able to happen at the same time as well. I guess what I'm saying, ARP.
The budget cycle, once we really hit it in October, every day, every week we have a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm fully devoted in making all the changes and corrections to the budget between the two meetings, the meeting every week. So someone else will have to take the lead. Somebody can do it. I'm not, saying I got to be the only one, but just realize I won't be able to do all of it simultaneously. That's why I'm trying to get some of this stuff done before that cycle, because I know it's going to be very busy.
Okay.
I could help out with the taking lead on that.
Okay. So, okay, I'll send that all out to you then.
All right.
Let's see, we did the shredding, canvas. Okay, the next one. Okay, I sent you a big email with a lot of details, so this is mostly for the public, not for you all, but you can hear it anyways. We met with Marshall and Sterling, who I'm sure you all have heard of. Stephanie and I, about 2 weeks ago. Our current family broker operation, Mid-Hudson VIP in New Paltz, has become slow or negligent in providing insurance support to us and our employees for the last year. Stephanie and I met with Marshall and Sterling to evaluate the services they can provide. As you are aware, Marshall and Sterling is a large organization that can provide support in depth and more services than we can get through the Mid-Hudson VIP. The MVP rates, which is the policy that we have for medical, for the various policies are all the same for all brokers, so there is no price benefit either way. We don't get any money either way. We need timely support to get our employees and to get ours and the employees' questions answered as they arise. Additionally, we need to make the change before the start of the 2022 budget so that we have the latest rates during the budget process. The change would become effective on July 1st, 2021. And so it's not a finance thing, it's a service thing. And they can help provide a lot of extra support for free than we can get through this Mid-Hudson VIP. I'm sure there's other big companies. They're in Poughkeepsie. They're close and convenient. This is not something you can always do over the fax machine, over the emails and stuff like that. There are occasions where people have to talk to people about particular unique MVP situations and stuff like that, which, you know, we can direct them and answer some of the questions, but we don't want to be the filter all the way through on all of these things. So that's the background, and I made mention of it before. So
So basically, we've had cases with the other insurance provider that we've been had to wait. What was like a week for answers?
oh yeah, several weeks on some of these things. Like some employees want to know how the benefits are going to apply when they retire or not retire, or, you know, that kind of stuff that we've been going through with several employees. And we don't have, I mean, Stephanie and I do not have the expertise, and we try to hook them up with the other company, and it's like 2-3 weeks until they get back. And, you know, they get frustrated. We look like we're incompetent. So that's the deal. So it's become more evident in the last 3-4 months where this really started hitting home. And we're going to have to go through this looking at, and we made no decisions, but looking at, are we going to change which policy in MVP? Okay, the guys like in the highway department MVP. So that MVP is not the issue, but they have like 12 different policies. Which one makes the best sense? We could stay with what we have. We can pick another one, and then we gotta, you know, go through that, because I need those numbers in the budget cycle to put in the budget numbers so we can see where they are. And you know, we'll all be party to that decision of what plan it is once we can evaluate several of these.
Just out of curiosity, those plans for the health insurance, going through that, I know something that came up in my business, that we had the option to offer different plans for different employees. Is with the town, we're trying to keep everything on one plan. So
One
everything's
plan.
Yeah, okay, that's what I did, the same thing.
We're too small to have an organization taking care of it. Now, I get-
Basically, our union contract negotiates and basically puts us with the MVP plan. So pretty much everybody else is getting it, just because there's only a few other people outside of the
Mhm.
Yeah.
union employees that even have it.
Yeah.
Now, I got a letter from MVP yesterday saying they've put in for 7% increase in rates. Now, who knows what the actual number is gonna be? If I don't get anything better than that, I may put it in for 8% just for starter in a tentative budget. Come October, we may get better numbers, okay? But I gotta put something in. That number goes, it's been as high as 15% that I've been given and as low as 4%. So it's a gamble. You just never know. So that's the other reason why I'm trying to move these ahead, because we may find we'll change the policy, still MVP, and we got to now sell it with the highway people too. So we haven't done any of that analysis, and if somebody knows how to do that very easily, fine. I'll let you look it over and tell me what. But, I'm just trying to bring the issue so that we can move forward.
So I don't have any objection to switching to Marshall and Sterling, and certainly I have personally had tried to deal with the company in New Paltz and have had a very poor experience over the last 6 years, especially when we're negotiating the union contract. But basically saying that Marshall and Sterling is going to provide a better service than anybody else, I don't think that's an accurate statement. There's a lot of other health insurance companies that specialize in health insurance that can provide equal amount of service. Again, I don't really care that we go to Marshall and Sterling, because I've had complaints with Marshall and Sterling too. I mean, but that particular company in New Paltz has not provided us with the service. So I definitely think that we should be switching from them. So in either case, it doesn't really matter. But I do believe that there's other companies that we could have certainly gone with. It is easier just to deal with one company, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get the best service either.
Yeah. As I say, we've been with the other company a long time, but it's really deteriorated in the last few years. And in the last few months, it's gotten bad.
Yeah, it's basically a son that was taking over for someone else, and it just.
Yeah, the father owns the business. The son took over when Rose left, who was our rep that we dealt with, and she was very responsive. But when she left to go with her husband with a new job, the son took over, and he's not been responsible enough.
No, I agree that we need to switch out of there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dean, what do you suggest in possible interview, sit down and hear?
Our price is not going to change from company to company. So again, it doesn't really matter to
Not a
me.
money issue.
I mean, Gray's got to deal with them more than anybody else. I only, dealt with them every 3 years when we have the union contract. Other than that, I don't typically deal with them. So if Ray feels comfortable in dealing with Marshall and Sterling, I mean, that's fine by me. It's just, I'm just saying that there's other companies that can provide the same service. And I do know we have some of our liability policies with them. So it may be just as easy to use one company, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting the best service.
So any further discussion? Okay, I'll make a motion and we'll see what happens. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be resolved that the town board approve Marshall and Sterling as a medical insurance broker effective July 1st, 2021. Is there a second?
Michael, second.
Any further discussion?
I mean, what's the worst that can basically happen? We make a change, we try out some, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we're trying to pick out.
Well, MVP is still going to be MVP, and the price is still going to be the price. It's just who's going to be our contact. That's all.
Yeah. Well, if you're saying at that point you had an issue with the other one, I guess it can't get any worse than where we're at.
Okay, roll call, Oberly, I, Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Thank you. Next one now is Rec Park.
So Corey Gallinger grew up in the town of Clinton. He was a talented basketball player, tennis player, a very talented musician that at a young age produced and recorded his own EP that he released. And unfortunately, this past March, Corey passed away suddenly. And Carol and I had the pleasure of meeting with Corey's mother and his friends this past Saturday at the Clinton Rec Park. They are at the Franmark Park, sorry. And they are looking to hold a basketball tournament on August 1st to help raise funds for a scholarship fund for Corey. And they would like to also, and I agree, rename the basketball court in Corey's honor. He spent a lot of time there with his friends. These young people, I got to say, were extremely impressive the other day. I'm kind of proud to know that they live in our town and that they care so much about our town. And I was impressed. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approve naming the basketball court Corey Gallinger Memorial Basketball Court at Franmark Rec Park in honor of a Clinton resident who recently passed away. And further, to approve a basketball tournament fundraiser co-sponsored by the rec department to support a scholarship in his name on August 1st, 2021.
Any second?
Giuliano second.
Further discussion?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought they were coming to us to build something or do something. I thought that's what originally the intent was.
Well, they were interested in renaming the basketball court. There is also an idea that was floated about putting up a gazebo in his name, but that's going to require much more planning and more than just the town board making a motion. So we are assisting in the hopefully renaming the basketball court. And since it's, a small group of young people doing this, we thought if we could co-sponsor it, then the liability insurance for the basketball tournament they wouldn't have to go out and purchase their own liability insurance. We could just help with that and help with some of the planning. We're trying
And Dan can help with the whole basketball planning and too, so he would be active as well.
we're trying
Yeah,
to,
I'm just more, I don't know, kind of concerned about the precedent that we have by naming something. We don't even have a name on it, so it's not even named, initially. But to say that one person should have something named in your honor, I know that we have, in particular, next to the town hall is a gazebo, but the gazebo itself was donated, and that's why it's named in Betty's honor. And the funds to build the court were given by Betty Davis in honor of her, her husband. Here we're naming something that really was spent with town money, and we're now asking to rename it. I don't know. I just kind of feel funny about the precedents that we're making.
We've also named Franmark Park after Francis Mark, who was on the town board and all that stuff too. So, we've named other things.
But that was donated. I mean, that there were monetary donations that went with that, correct?
Franmark Park? No.
The land and so on?
No, she had nothing to do with land.
No.
No.
Okay.
Well, let me,
sorry. The other thing, the only expense that I could see with renaming the court would be putting up a sign. And
I'm not even talking about the expense. I'm just talking about the precedents that, here we're naming it after someone who's just happened to be a town resident, didn't do anything particularly for the town itself. I don't know.
I just would like to chime in here, please, and I'm just going to try to hold it together. When we put that court up, it was a magnet for the children in our community, and there are very few things that really bind our community. There's the library, there's the rec park. And when that basketball court came in, we have a group of about 20 or 25 Clinton young people who we as parents knew were safe. They were together, they've been lifelong friends. It's a healthy outlet, and that has been the gem that has attracted these young people to healthy lifestyles, active lifestyles, really supporting each other. And I, as a parent who has a child who's part of that group, know that that basketball court really has been the thing that has bound those kids together through Haviland High School and college. And so for someone who knows the kids and know how they use it, it's really appropriate to name it for one of their kids, one of their friends who's now missing from that group. So as they continue to join together there and grieve their friend, have fun, have their own tournaments, he's present with them in name only, but he's present. So as a parent of somebody in this community, I'm going to ask that the town board support it. Very important to the kids in our community who really aren't bound together in many other ways. They all go to different schools. This is where they meet. This is where they're healthy and active, literally till 10 o'clock at night. So I'm asking you to support this for Corey and his family. And I apologize for losing it.
Thank you, Carol.
So, I have to say, so I drive by at night, and I got to say, the kids are always out there. I mean, it definitely brings a lot of the kids, and, seeing, I don't know how many of them are all using it from our town, but it is nice to see that it does get used on that, and see a group of kids. I don't know if it's always the same group of kids.
Well, I honestly considered myself very lucky the other day to meet some of these young people that played with Corey there, and to see how much it means to them. And I don't think it's that much to ask.
I have a question. Are you working with Dan on this, with the co-sponsor thing? Because I have not been involved in this.
Well, no, we've only asked Dan to make sure that we blocked off the basketball court for that date in the pavilion so that they have access to the park.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about parking or whatever this when we know exactly how many people. Obviously, Dan would be involved if some gazebo or anything is put up later on and things like that. But most of the co-sponsoring is essentially for the insurance aspect of it to help these young people do this.
Because a church, I think this is under the circumstances. I understand what Dean's saying, and that was my first reaction. But quite frankly, under the circumstances, I think this just says a good thing, okay? But a tournament coordination is a lot of work, and I just want to make sure that Dan is involved in that.
Yeah, but the young people, and there are adults with those young people who are planning this event. Just like if anybody was planning a family reunion at the pavilion, they do it on their own without, assistance.
Okay.
And just one question, Mike. So when they're as we're co-sponsoring it, because it basically for liability, it's not going to affect our insurance more with anything else or costs with us, just so everyone understands that.
Yeah, no.
It's the same way that we would co-sponsor the bonfire that the Clinton
Sure.
Association ran, and Rec co-sponsored it. It's really just in name.
Yeah, and it's very similar, as I see it, as all the Eagle Scout projects that we had, the gazebo down there, the signs being painted, different projects all over the town in our governmental lands. So, I support it. It's no question. I don't see this as a financial matter on our part at all.
I support it also. I just a little worried about the logistics. So you need to get Dan involved now. Okay.
Okay.
I'll support it. I do understand Dean's, where Dean's coming from as far as that goes. I think, with also understand where Carol's coming from, because we don't have a lot of areas where a lot of gathering. I think that's what I had a lot of people when I went around, a while ago, meeting a lot of our residents, and they always says we wish there was more of a gathering place or something. So I guess if the kids have something in it, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's not that I'm, yeah, I don't want you to think I'm poo-pooing it. I'm just saying that, I just kind of feel like it's kind of setting a wrong precedence. But, look, our kids don't really have much to do in our town.
Yeah.
Not that even our adults have much to do in our town. And so I do support, the tournament and everything else, and I'll support the naming it as well. I just brought it up as far as something that I just think that we should always think about as far as anything that we do, we always set precedents. And so that's why I brought it up.
And I have no problem admitting that when I first read the email, I had kind of the same reaction you did, Dean. And then I thought about it, I met them, I talked to them, and it made complete sense.
I am a full supporter of trying to be a positive, give kids a positive thing to work for. And so, for that reason, if this is going to give the kids something extra that just makes them more, part of the community and feel part of the community, I'm for it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the other last piece of the puzzle is that he used to use it all the time. I think that's a big, it'd be I would have a little more time if we were just picking something to name and he was never there part of it. I think it makes it a little easier. And I understand, Dean, setting precedent, but I think this would be a good thing, maybe bring the community together. And I think, sometimes we need that.
I expect to
Thank
see
you,
you all on
Chris.
August 1st.
I can't play basketball though. So.
No.
Make the motion.
I thought I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did within a
Yeah,
second.
we did.
Okay, I just want.
I second. Yeah, I second.
Giuliano second.
Okay, roll call, Oberly, aye, Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion
Thank you.
carried. Now we're off the truck.
So the truck is, I'm not going to make a motion tonight. We sold some things at auction. We sold a bunch of equipment at auction. I think there was about $31,000 or something that we brought in from that. And then there's some funds left over in our sand budget line for the highway. And Todd is interested in purchasing a Ford F-350 with that money, but we don't have the proper budget codes for the motion tonight of where the money's going to come from. And I don't think the proceeds from the auction were transferred to the proper places. I think Todd needs to have a meeting with Ray to discuss those. And I know I got a couple of comments that a couple of people didn't understand why we were purchasing the truck or what was it replacing. I would say we've gotten rid of quite a bit of equipment through these auctions, and Todd's plan, when explained to me, seemed perfectly reasonable for purchasing this truck. But I think if he can write something up and send it to you guys and then have a meeting with Ray to discuss where the money's coming from, we can deal with this next month.
So because this is something that I worked on with Todd a while ago on here, just kind of bring some insight. So through the whole process, we had the sand, we're in a good spot. Our sand shed is filled. So we got enough there. As Mike said, we've been having some equipment that we've been trying to rotate out of that's been overused. We were able to do pretty good on the auction over the past 2 months. But this is part of our plan of trying to upgrade and bring, the town where we're not having all these repairs and stuff right up front that we've been paying on a lot of old equipment. So, I think this piece of equipment is justified on here, from getting rid of it. It was a plan that, Todd, Mike, and I were working on for a couple months, trying to find a way. My biggest concern was, trying to cut the budget down on it through the sale of the proceeds, and knowing that our salt shed is set, we have a little extra revenue. So I'm not sure about the budget code thing. I'll leave that up to you, Mike. But I think
he also wanted to transfer one of the vehicles to I guess, the use with the cemeteries and the rec.
That's
And then
correct.
this would be Bruce's vehicle. And this way, we're not having to drive, one of the big trucks during the summertime. But we also have a smaller truck for the dirt roads and smaller roads where
Yeah.
the big trucks don't go. So
Yeah, there's a truck with a plow on it right now that is going to come off and would go, I think, on the new truck, or maybe not. He's purchasing a plow blade for that.
the sander would go on the new,
And he's going to use that older one for, say, the building department to go out on building inspections. Zoning officer can use it instead of using his own mileage. Eric,
Which we should have. Which
yeah,
we
and
should have
Eric,
something
when
there
he's
too.
running to Williams Lumber for maintenance stuff, can use that truck as well. So
Are-
it'll serve a multi-purpose.
One concern just popped into my mind, and it depends on what funds he's going to use. Some of them can only be used for highway equipment. But I have a question about the heating units.
Yeah, so,
Garage.
Todd had said originally, because that's really equipment and grounds, but he set aside a certain portion of that when we spoke originally about when we went on our budget process last year, set aside that he would be able to take some of the unused funds that he had, from the highway to help with that set aside. Then we got to come up with the rest, which now that we're through some other stuff, and I'll get back onto that and having that hopefully more information by July so we can move forward with the heating on here. So
now the other concern
there's,
is that, if you ever go out to try to buy a vehicle, most of these car lots are practically empty
Empty.
because there's no cars. So Todd happened to find this particular one. So that's why he was trying to pull the trigger on it pretty quick because, if we don't do something, there may not be an option to get a vehicle.
are we able to approve it with code verification after? I mean, what's the legality out of this here? Because I do know that's an issue. Right now we can't get it, there's very limited on vehicles out there. And then the prices are probably going to start changing too, even, with state bids and stuff as inventory becomes a problem.
The biggest concern I had when this whole thing started was I got an email which said, I'm buying this truck for 57,000 or whatever it is, and it's such and such and all specs. There was no definition of why we were buying it at all, okay? Then this morning I get a listing saying, well, here's where all the funds could be found. I've been doing this town board meeting stuff today, all day, just trying to be ready tonight. So I didn't verify that those numbers are right or legitimate. They add up to be the right numbers. And I'm sure we could probably play games, get better accounting codes on that. Not find money, but just better accounting codes. So I think now that we've gotten more information as to why he wanted the truck, I think that's important to know because we did not know, and we just don't buy trucks with just because someone says I need a truck.
Yeah.
So then Chris's question remains, can we approve this tonight without a budget code?
Yeah.
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 You can.
You can.
Well, then, I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approve the purchase of a 2021 Ford F-350 STX RC Turbo Diesel 4x4 equipped with 9-foot 6-inch Fisher XV2 MS plow off of state bid from Romeo Ford at a cost not to exceed $57,986.60.
Is there a second?
Giuliano second.
Further discussion? Okay, then we'll do roll call. Overly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Okay, now we go appointments. for the Climate Smart Task Force.
Sorry. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the following are appointed to the Climate Smart Community Task Force with a term of office of June 9th, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. On January 1st, 2022, we will appoint them for a full 2 years. Michael Witten, Climate Smart Coordinator and Town Board Member. Joseph Fallon, Chair, Member of the CAC. Ian Schrank, Secretary. Charles Canham, Member of the ZBA. Jacob Strauss, CAC Member. Todd Martin, Highway Superintendent.
Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried.
And then because of staggered terms, I make a motion to approve the following. Be it resolved that the following are appointed to the Climate Smart Community Task Force with a term of office of June 9th, 2021 to December 31st, 2022, full 2-year terms. Gene McAvoy, CAC Member. Richard Marshall, Paul Rude, Leslie Power, and Melissa Karchman.
Is there a second?
Giuliano, second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Carol, Paul's last name is R-U-U-D.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean Michael,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Okay, now we got another one here.
Nancy, it's a rec appointment.
Yes, I wasn't aware I was making these, but that's fine. Again, to staff the rec department for the summer programs. I'd like to make a motion to, that the town board approve Rosemary Hogan, Christopher O'Brien as lifeguards at the rate of $12.97 per hour from June 9th, 2021 to November 1st, 2021.
Is there a second?
Giuliano, second.
Okay. Further discussion? Roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. The next one is a little different. We normally don't have too much time to do these kind of things. We needed a consultant for radio frequency and cell tower stuff. We're in the midst of a planning board approval for a cell tower thing. And if we don't get a decision made by the planning board within 90 days, it's actually started a while, it automatically gets approved. Now, this guy is, I sent you all the information so you know his background and all. And he's been highly recommended by Unionville, supervisor down in Unionville, who I've used him on many occasions. And according to Arlene, she looked at and talked with him. He's a good guy. So I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the appointment of Ronald Grief as radio frequency cell tower consultant at $2.50 an hour, effective June 3rd, 2021. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Any
So
discussion?
this is not for a new cell tower. This is for an upgrade to the existing Verizon cell tower on German Road.
Yeah. But
So my only question is the rate of 250 per hour. How many hours are we looking at?
It doesn't cost us
potentially.
anything. It goes, they have to pay for it.
Oh, they gotta pay. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
fine then. Okay, we're
it's
good.
an applicant cost. But
Fine
we
with
still have to approve him to be
Sure.
in the service.
We just
Sure.
approved their fee.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
same thing with the planning board and the budget,
Yeah.
whoever we hire for the planner and the zoning, for the engineer, it's the consumer that pays for that. We don't pay for it.
Okay, roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Okay, rec assistant there, Nancy.
Yeah, again, to support the summer programs, we need to appoint a rec assistant. By the way, we are seeing the first weeks filled, but there are still a lot of openings, so you can check the website for the information, and we still can accommodate as many as will sign up for the summer programs. But the rec assistant is essential, so I'd like to ask make a motion that the board appoint Taylor Harkenrider as rec assistant, which is really a camp coordinator, for 4 weeks for the Camp Plus orientation program, effective June 9th, 2021, at the rate of $11.55 an hour.
Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Any further discussion? Roll call. Oberly, aye. Cunningham,
Aye.
Giuliano,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
motion carried. Now we're at warrants.
Make a motion be resolved, the town board approves the June 8th, 2021 general fund warrant vouchers number 236 through 282 totaling $104,818.59. And the June 8th, 2021 highway fund warrant vouchers number 112 through 130 totaling $75,015.76. Is there a second?
Giuliano, second.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
motion carried. Motion to move funds. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves resolution number 32 of 2021. A resolution to move funds at the June 8th, 2021 meeting. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Okay, roll call. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Dean Michael,
Aye.
Nancy Cunningham.
Aye.
Motion carried. Supervisors report. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the final supervisors report for May 2021. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Any discussion? Roll call. Oberly, aye. Giuliano, aye.
Aye.
I mean, Giuliano.
I'll take that as an aye. There you go.
Okay, Witten,
Aye.
Dean.
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
motion carried. You know, when we change over to open meetings, I'm gonna probably still start asking by names. Any other business before the board at this time?
No, I would like to mention one thing that we are, Dan Harkenrider is working with an Eagle Scout to possibly do some upgrade work on a sign that would be permanently located at Friends Park. So I'll give you more information on that, but it would be a really nice project for both the town and for this Eagle Scout, so.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, I make a motion that the town board adjourns the meeting. Is there a second?
Dean Michael, second.
Any discussion? Better not be any. Roll call. Oberly, aye. Giuliano,
Aye.
Witten,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
motion carried. See you all next month in July.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.